welcome to another vlog about my life and the things I get up to. I've been working today at Winford in Leiden, and Korky came with us again, or with me. I didn't film so much, it was a busy day, and my co-worker was there too, so we had a, a chat about the weekend and the children. And I'm about to cook dinner for my family. I hope you had a really nice day. What am I doing? I can hear you think it. I'm making, the Dutch word is transparante. It's a frame of black paper where the children will punch out certain areas and you will stick colored see-through paper behind it, and then you hang it on the window. And it's usually seasonal and very waldorfy. I'm making an Easter one, and I need to make them 27 times. I have tried to do this on the copy machine, but haven't found a way to do that yet. So if you have any tips, please tell me. I don't mind drawing them. It's a nice, peaceful thing to do in the morning. See, there's the bunny with an egg under the ground. And the children like doing this. I like to give them two choices, so they don't all make the same one. Hey Andrea.
Hey, goedemorgen.
Jij bent snel hersteld. Had jij ook die horrorgriep?
Nou.
The children are knitting animals. This is a hedgehog, and some of them are nearly finished. And they are very proud of their work as well, and so they should be. And we work on the knitting projects in a very small group, and one of the grandmas is leading that. I don't have enough help, unfortunately, to let the whole class knit at the same time. But I do like that the way she does it and how the children are connecting with each other. Really nice.
En een binnenkant oortje, net als mij. Ja, een binnenkant oortje zoals die van Pien. Zelf, jij brengt echt los.
Je moet altijd goed in de gaten houden.
En zit ook nog een oor bij.
Die draad die zit altijd in deze kant, rechts. Als die aan de linkerkant zit, is het niet goed.
Want hij is zo los dat hij niet. Ja,
Nou ja, weet je, maar alleen niet, dan laat het op dit.
Nee, ik ben helemaal stuk. Nog 10 pennen? Nee, nog 3 pennen. En dan is hij af. Ik heb nog maar 1 pen.
Steken heet dat, Ronja.
Echt steken?
Dat is een beetje jammer, maar...
16 steken.
Bij breien heb je steken en naalden.
Oh, ik heb een steek in mijn buik. Oh nee, ik heb een steek in mijn buik.
Je moet deze kant op.
Walking outside after work today. It's nice and fresh. More flowers are popping up. And I'm walking with Korky, of course. Tibbe and his girlfriend are cooking again. They have a HelloFresh meal again tonight, and I really like how they do that together. En anders snij je het door en bak je het nog even een keertje. Tibbe, wat worden de worteltjes?
Gay.
Keurig. Je kan wel zien dat jullie in de horeca zitten. In je vinger gesneden? Ai.
We hebben echt niet vinger gezien.
Kijk, Tibbe gaat hartjes maken. Dat vinden wij lekkerder, hè Joey?
Ja. Ben je echt een hartje zijn?
Ja, perfect. Ja, Tibbe heeft me nogal een mes.
Dat kan ik toch op de kalkoenfilet doen?
Ja, je kan niet anders.
En kan je dan een beetje uitgeven aan de kalkoen? Dat hoeft niet.
Je moet allemaal citroenjas zijn.
Alles nog onder controle?
Nee,
Nee.
Ai.
zeer zeker niet.
Nou ja,
Dat het ergste is. Hè?
precies. Dan hebben we nog siemits met olijf en kaas.
Ja,
Wat?
dan hebben we nog iets met olijf en kaas.
Dat vind je gelukkig lekker, toch?
Olijf wel, kaas wat minder.
Dan maar Tip, ik doe het er gewoon over hoor.
Ja, best. Hoi hoi.
This is what the kitchen
Kijk,
looks
hier hebben
like
we
after they've
ravage
been
in
in
de
it.
keuken.
I'm not complaining, just to show
Na het
you.
koken.
And I know they will clean it up. Because the dessert will be McDonald's, I promised them. And here's the dinner on the table. They both work in restaurants and hotels, so well, they need to
Ga maar
practice at
zitten.
home, don't they?
De koks.
Je zit hier sowieso op de foto.
Kijk. Tada. Het zal heerlijk smaken, denk ik.
Ja, nou. Laten we eerst even bidden.
Voor wie?
Dat het goed zal smaken.
Show voor je opa.
Ja.
Mama.
Hallo.
Komt eraan.
Oh, top.
Oké, ik heb dus een McFlurry op.
Ja, Pien zit toch achterin, in haar pyjama broek.
Helemaal
Oh,
niet.
dat is het eten. Dat geven we even door naar achter. Er zit een chihuahua achterin. Dank u wel.
Eet maar nog bijna gewoon.
U ook. Zo, even kijken of het lukt om door te rijden.
Lekkere kip nuggets. Zijn dit de mozzarella sticks?
Toetjes.
Dit is de mozzarella sticks.
Sometimes I still make these ones, very colorful flower shells. The colors really make me happy. Korky likes to sit on them as well. And I was cleaning up the, not the attic, but the shed. And then I found this one. I have a stack of them there, which I use during workshops. And this is a really nice light one for the weather at the moment. So I just wanted to show you these. Then at school during gymnastics, I also knit. And this week I was knitting Easter bunnies because I need to get a couple of them done. And I have children there to fit them on their finger. And it's a nice, easy, fast project for in between. I live in the flower bulb season, in the flower district of Holland, and the flowers are coming alive. These are daffodils, and next week they'll be further, I think. Now, here I am again at the bakery. There's another birthday girl, so I'm going to get some cakes. And here's the birthday girl, Pien. She turned 13 and she is going to put all the little cakes onto that lovely
Op het mooie dienblad
tray.
zetten.
Ready
Hoe oud ben je
for
geworden,
the
Pien?
visitors.
13.
Kijk eens. 13?
Ja.
Jeetje.
Mama, deze lamp hangt heel laag.
Dat is de nachtegaal. En dat is nu Hunami. En zij doen het met zijn zo'n apparaat op tafel.
Bekers, glazen pakken zodat we...
Yo, Tibbe, huppakee.
Goedemorgen. Hey.
Maar welkom.
Korky, Korky! And when it's your birthday, you're allowed to choose what we have for dinner. So 2 weeks ago we had sushi because Jurre was allowed to choose. And this week Pien wanted sushi for her birthday as well. So here we are having sushi. We could have gone out for dinner, but these days it's very hard or very difficult to get my children at least 1 hour in the house together because they have sports, work, school. So this is the next best thing. You see Jurre there, the middle one, in his football tenue. He has 15 minutes to eat and then he needs to go off. And he comes back too late to have dinner. He's back at 9:30. So that's too late to have dinner. So this is the next best thing. And I like to have dinner with most of them at the table. And I think they enjoy it too. Chat to each other about how the day was in school. And it was fun. tekentalentje.
Dan ga ik verder met...
Today I'm taking Korky to the hardware store to pick up some cement. Zien jullie het ook? Het is bijna volle maan. A lovely grandma made a spring fairy for the classroom, and her grandchild is unpacking it in class today, and together we're going to look for a nice spot to put her.
Zo zit hij daar aan de achterkant. Kan je even loslaten? De lentevee.
Ja, en we gaan een plekje zoeken voor haar in de klas.
Here the children are writing a story in their books about Easter and spring, and they can make it up themselves and add a drawing to it. And it's nice to see how many letters they already know.
Het is niet waar.
same street, and when I passed it this morning, this was outside. What is she drying here? Hello there. I thought it would be fun to knit one of these super cute finger puppet bunnies with you guys today. Here's just one. I'm going to make a whole basket full of them, as you can see. And I thought it would be nice to knit one together so you can see how I do it. And maybe you end up with a basket like this as well. So I use thin yarn, Fiala Lopi yarn, this is. And I'm going to make a grey one. You also need black for the nose and the eyes, a little bit of filling. And I'm using 2mm chai gu needles because I like they're nice and sharp, pointy. A short cable, you could use a longer one. Scissors and a darning needle. And then we can begin. So first you start by casting on 15 stitches. The official pattern says 20, but I use thinner wool, I think, and I like the bunny to be a little smaller, so I cast on 15. And after that you do 15 rows of knit and purl after each other, so you end up with a wrong side and a right side. In the official pattern that's 20 rows. And that's the body of the hair, which should fit around your finger. And after that, you do the head on top of it, attach it. So I end with a purl row, and then for the head, you turn it over and start with a purl row. So you have one right side, and then the head will be with the wrong side facing you. I don't know if I explain it correctly, but so if you hold the square down, you will have a right side facing you for the body and the wrong side facing you for the head, because the head has a little texture. And for the head, I do 7 rows, which is also knit and purl after each other. the yarn with quite a length. I use about 15 centimeters. Then you attach a darning needle and take off all the stitches of the needle and thread them onto the knitting yarn. And then you pull it close, which will shape the head. Then secure it with a few stitches and then secure the back of the body with also a few stitches. And then you should have something that will start to look like a hare or a bunny. You still need to fill up the head. Here I'm pulling the head close, as you can see. I was afraid my yarn would break since I'm using a fully wool yarn and it's so thin. So I thought at first to use another kind of yarn to close it, but it's holding fine. So I'm just using my knitting yarn to do this. I'm closing the head, and after a few stitches I'll go down the spine of the body to close it. And then you pop in some filling wool for the head and make sure to shape it a little egg shape, because a hare has a nose and it should point out a little. You can't fit your finger into the hole, you could use a knitting needle or the back of a spoon or a knife, and make sure all the wool is up in the head. If you don't make it too stiff, because it's then really hard to shape, and then you get big holes in the yarn as well. Then I get a piece of yarn, again the same color as the hair, and thread it through the neck. I start at the spine and then make sure I go all the way around, picking up one stitch, leaving the other, and then pulling that close. It will shape the neck of the bunny, so it will separate the body from the head. And then I do it with a few knots and then work away the threads into the head of the hare. Here you'll see me close, pull it tight, add another knot, and then work away the ends. stitches. The official pattern says 10, but since my bunny is smaller, I use 5. And then 10 rows of knitting and purling after each other. After 10 rows, you start to decrease. And since I have only 5 stitches, I knit the first 2 together, then knit 1, and then knit the last 2 together, then turn and purl a row, then knit 1 and knit 2 together. So you end up with 2 stitches. Then you turn around and purl a row and knit the last 2 together. And then break the yarn and work away that end. The other end, at the bottom of the ear, I use to secure it to the hare's body, no, to the head. And make sure I secure them at the back where the spine of the hair is as well. And I hold it with my finger and then look at the front of the hair if I like the shape of the ear where I have placed it. Maybe you need to place it a little higher, maybe a little lower, and then secure it with a few stitches. Add the second ear, and then it should look like a hair. gifted this yarn by Edna, and it was the newest edition of the Eastex. And I really like the Eastex. I like the Alafos Lopi and the Led Lopi. So, and with this one I'm also making that knitted top. And it's perfect for these Easter bunnies. So I start in the neck and then embroider on the eyes. You could use beads to do that, but I like to use the yarn. And then I poke through the heads to do the eye on the other side as well. And then make a little cross at the front for the nose. Go back through the head and snip off any yarn. These bunnies will have a bow around their neck, so I think you won't see the ends then. They will also get a basket, one of those baskets where a little Easter egg can fit in. That was it for this week. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll knit an Easter bunny too. I hope to see you next week, and I'm going to knit some more Easter bunnies because I still need a couple as presents. So see you next time.